What if I told you that the food you had for breakfast this morning came from thousands of miles away? Whether it is a slice of avocado toast or a sip of coffee that we're accustomed to having, how many of you here can tell me exactly where it came from? Probably not. 90% of the avocados that we consume in the United States comes from Mexico, which is about 2,000 miles from San Jose, California. Now, imagine those same avocados being sent to New York, all the way on the other side of the country. Not many of us realize how much time has really passed since our food is picked and harvested to the time it gets to our plates. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that provides us nutrients and keeps the human race going: food. There are three main challenges that we face in food culture. One, how much of our food has been industrialized and the negative impacts of it. Two, how much of our food is now processed and the health effects that come with it. And three, the growing lack of knowledge in consumers. As one leads to another, this has created a domino effect and a shift in food culture. I have seen the impact of this shift myself. Whenever I visit my grandparents' village in India, I get to see how things run on our farm, and I get to get my feet a little dirty and work on it for a bit myself too. And as I was reflecting on those memories and writing this speech, what I realized is that when you have small-scaled farms, you have real people working there, using their hands, cultivating your food, as opposed to manufacturing companies with large farmland. They don't care about our health. They care about cost efficiency. Food that is mass-produced is usually filled with preservatives and unnecessary additives. These can cause many side effects such as diabetes, obesity, and heart disease, which is the #1 cause of deaths in the United States. Look around and tell me, were people healthier 100 years ago? Why is obesity such a normalized struggle nowadays? And what has changed to cause this? Well, it's the way we produce and distribute our food. The US Department of Agriculture states that there has been a 10% decline of small farms from 2012 to 2022. Yet, the average size of the farm keeps shooting up. You may be thinking, well, larger farms are only good for you, right? It increases agricultural productivity. What could be wrong with that? When you have larger, more centralized farms, that also leads to longer distribution and supply chains, which increases the amount of time it takes from when your food is picked to the time it gets to you. Today, something, like I said, that is being produced in California could be reaching New York, all the way across the country. For example, fresh vegetables can lose up to 55% of their vitamin C 1 week after they're picked. Now, imagine, by the time they're picked, washed, packaged, and being shipped to you, that time frame has probably already passed. How much nutrients are really left by the time it gets to you? When you walk into the supermarket and you pick a random can off the shelf, very convenient, very easy. But can you tell me how long it's been sitting there before your hands got on it? Probably not. Food continues to break down the second it is harvested, and it respires and breaks down organic materials inside of it, such as proteins, carbs, and fat. That's what we eat food for, right? That's what keeps us going. But as time passes, it continues to break down and deteriorate. And what are we left with? What are we gaining from this food? The unnecessary additives, preservatives, and sugars. That's what we're gaining. For example, a can of beans, for example, can last 2 to 5 years after it's made and its expiry date on its can that is printed. Whereas if you get a fresh beans from the produce section, it will last you maybe 7 days. That is a shocking difference, 2 to 5 years versus 7 days. The reason why this is so important is because increased shelf life causes can erosion, which is more prominent in highly acidic foods such as tomatoes. Can erosion is when the organic materials inside the food itself react with the materials of the can. It can cause taste, texture, and nutrient changes for the worse. So, why do we keep preferring this if we know that it's not beneficial for our health physically or mentally? Well, it's because that's what our brains are fed. Every year, $14 billion is spent in food advertising in the United States. $14 billion. And 80% of that goes to food that is like snacks, sodas, candies, and fast food that line the shelves. Let's talk about something that has recently taken the internet for a search and has gained popularity. Plant-based food. Plant-based food is advertised as a healthy alternative to a fresh slab of meat that will provide you the same amount of nutrients. But what's actually in it? Soy, gluten, wheat, and peas. That's not exactly what the term plant-based suggests, is it? Now, I've told you 3 ways that we struggle with food culture, and now I will be telling you 3 ways we could help fix that. 1, we need to lean towards more small-scale farming and farmers market. 2, prioritize fresh produce and cooking at home. And 3, be conscious about the food that we are eating. Locally grown and small farm food is beneficial because it reduces the amount of time from when it is picked to when it comes to you. You're getting your food right from its source. The food is fresher, and in the end, it's more nutrients dense. What we can do to create this shift is agritourism. And no, agritourism is not just a way where you have influencers pose with pumpkins and post online. It's a way you connect community and bring a fresh revenue stream for farmers. For example, my family has a tradition where we go cherry picking every single summer. As a kid, it was just an excuse for me to run around and eat as many cherries as I want. And we would always end up with bags and bags of cherries just overflowing. But that was never a problem for us. We would just give it out to our friends and families. And knock, knock, whether you know it or not, they would be back at our door in a week or 2 telling us how their experience went and giving us some cherries back. The taste of a fresh cherry that I picked with my own hands and ate right then and there is incomparable to what I get at the supermarket. The taste and the freshness I get when I pick it and eat it right there is something you can never replicate. The supermarket ones may be prettier, more polished, but they're also not the same. This is how we spread the word and help agritourism flourish. Secondly, we need to gravitate away from large manufacturing processes and start taking our own food from our own backyard. Let's talk about backyard gardens. I am fortunate enough that my family has our own backyard garden where we grow a variety of foods such as bell peppers, okra, strawberries, tomatoes, you name it, we have it. For a lot of people, processed food is all about convenience. But can you tell me, what's more convenient than being like, oh, I can just take a few steps to my backyard and get food whenever I want? I know for a lot of people, this may be something that's not a great option. It could be space issues, or it's just a very time-consuming hobby. So a great alternative is choosing fresh produce, fresh vegetables, fresh fruits whenever you can. Lastly, there has been an increasing lack of knowledge in consumers. If I stood on this stage today and I said I eat 100% healthy, I would be lying to myself and to everyone here. I'm not here to tell you that you need to be perfect to be healthy. In such a fast-paced world, we never really have time to take a step back and think, what am I putting into my body and how is it affecting me mentally and physically? There is a difference from having a bag of chips because that's what you're craving once in a while. And there's a difference between having it with every single one of your meals, thinking, well, what could it do to me? It's important to be smart with your choices and be conscious about the way you eat food affects your body and choose not to be oblivious. Maybe one day, fresh veggies will be in every single parking lot, every single convenience store you find. You will see people in the parking lot selling fresh food, not packaged, fresh. Maybe one day, in your community, in your neighborhood, you'll set up your own system where you can donate vegetables and fruits grown in your own backyard and share with your neighbors. Maybe one day, we will all have fresh food on our plates. Maybe one day. Thank you.